anymore. So bring Shedeur Sanders up with the young kid, the lefty, and now your first and second team are the young quarterbacks. That's what we want to see. And make no mistake, Alex, we talked about this yesterday. You said there's 2 first-round picks that they have next year, right?
Yep.
So this is about, let's see what we have. Are one of these guys going to be our quarterback moving forward?
Right.
And to me, look, I was saying something about Shedeur Sanders. And to me, I just know this kid has.
So apparently, Alex Smith just dropped a nuclear bomb about why Shedeur Sanders isn't starting for the Cleveland Browns. And this one's juicier than any sports drama out right now. Forget the on-field tension. This sounds straight up like a Netflix scandal episode. Except it's real life. Did the Browns really bench their golden boy for that reason? Oh, just wait, because what Alex spilled might make every fan side-eye what's really going on behind those locker room doors. If you're watching, hit that subscribe button right now. It helps more than you know, because what Alex Smith just did, he basically shook the NFL gossip universe. He claimed to reveal the truth about why Shedeur Sanders is riding the bench in Cleveland, and let's be honest.
I think there's always something to build on. No moral victories whatsoever, but I think regardless of result, week to week, there's a process, and more time you spend around anyone, you're going to get more continuity, and that's, QB to receiver, that's QB to running back, that's us as a whole unit coming together really and getting comfortable with,
Whenever Alex Smith starts a sentence with, "Let me tell you the truth," you know chaos is about to follow. But this time, it's not your regular analyst take. It's a full-blown roast of how the Browns somehow managed to turn one of college football's flashiest young stars into a sideline statue with designer shades and perfect posture. It's wild. Because honestly, the Browns have a PhD in turning potential into confusion. If there's any team in the NFL that could take a 5-star quarterback and somehow make him a glorified water boy with Wi-Fi privileges, it's Cleveland. This is the same team that once looked at a halfway decent roster and said, you know what, let's rebuild again. So when Alex Smith starts talking and hints that there's real truth behind Shedeur's benching.
Efficient, right? He's got the ball out of his hands. He's only taken 1 sack, hasn't turned the ball over, hasn't put it in harm's way. He's got the ball to his playmakers, and they're in this game.
Meanwhile, the fact that he is starting is obviously a significant story. There have been very few situations like the one in Cleveland this year where they draft him in the 3rd round and then they draft Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round. And the immediate reaction here, Rex, from you was the fact that Dillon Gabriel is the starter and Joe Flacco is the backup is interesting.
Everyone stopped scrolling like it's episode 1 of a true crime doc. Because according to him, this quarterback drama isn't even about stats or skill anymore. Nope, it's about vibes, trust, and whatever spiritual circus they've got brewing inside that locker room. Something's definitely off in Cleveland. And Alex just gave us front row seats to the madness. Let's get one thing straight. Shedeur Sanders is not your average rookie. This isn't some random 4th-round hopeful still learning how to tie his cleats. This is Shedeur Sanders, the man who turned Colorado football into a full-blown Hollywood movie set. He shows up to games like he's filming a Rolls-Royce commercial, not running a 2-minute drill. The dude's got swagger, precision, and ice-cold composure that even some NFL veterans couldn't fake after 10 years of therapy sessions, and yet somehow he's stuck on the bench? Make it make sense. The Browns are treating Shedeur like a collector's edition action figure, shiny, expensive, and sitting pretty in the box untouched.
Dillon Gabriel is a really good quarterback. There's nothing wrong. There is a problem with that. I don't want a quarterback out there who's just out there and my receivers and my running backs are not getting any yards. I need receivers and running backs who are getting me dimes. Because every time you get a dime, I'm still on the field. The clock is still running. I am in possession of the ball and the ability to make points is available.
The same franchise that once couldn't beg for quarterback talent now suddenly has too much of it? Please. And right when fans start scratching their heads, Alex Smith slides in with that calm football Yoda energy, hinting there's more to the story. Oh, really, Alex? Because fans are already out here doing full-blown detective work, connecting dots like it's a Reddit conspiracy thread. Did somebody in the front office feel threatened by Shedeur's fame? Did he park in the wrong spot next to a coach's car? Or maybe he just looked too good at practice and bruised someone's ego? Or maybe, just maybe, the Browns are addicted to chaos, making confusing decisions just for the aesthetic of disaster. And here's the kicker. Alex Smith's so-called explanation apparently comes down to something about development and preparation. Oh, please. That's the NFL's oldest excuse in the book, because clearly nothing builds a young quarterback's confidence like sitting on the sideline watching a mediocre starter get pummeled into the turf 12 times a game. If that's the Browns' idea of player development, then no wonder Cleveland's playbook looks more like a reality TV script gone wrong. That's the Browns' idea of mentorship, trauma by observation. They're basically running a masterclass in how to ruin potential without even trying. Meanwhile, Shedeur's sitting there every Sunday, watching the same dumpster fire unfold on repeat, probably wondering if he accidentally signed up for a live-action remake of Groundhog Day, Quarterback Edition.
Yeah. And why the hell he's not out there? It
makes no sense.
It makes absolutely no sense.
It makes no sense.
No sense.
You hit the nail on the head, Rex. This year, about the rest of this year, should be finding out if either of these kids can be a starting quarterback, right? And the fact that he's not bumped up to backup, something's off. Something's wrong, right? Again, given his ability, his track record, where they're at right now as a team, as a QB room with Joe Flacco, again, I don't understand why this guy's not the backup and ready to roll.
Every drive looks identical. 3 plays, 1 punt, and a coach chewing gum like it's saving the season. Seriously, how is that supposed to help? And let's not kid ourselves. Cleveland fans are losing their minds. Alex Smith's big revelation might sound groundbreaking to outsiders, but to Browns Nation, it's the equivalent of saying water is wet. Everyone already knows the Browns have trust issues. They don't trust their process, their players, or even their own reflection in the mirror after another loss. Every time they get a young quarterback with promise, they treat him like a ticking time bomb, shiny on the outside but terrifying once you get too close. Here's where it gets spicy. Alex Smith knows this story all too well. He was the poster child for the talented quarterback who got benched despite doing everything right. The man literally lost his starting job because he was too stable, too composed, too professional. So when he says Shedeur Sanders isn't starting for reasons beyond performance, that's not gossip. That's a red flag wrapped in experience. He's been that guy, the veteran, holding a tablet like a substitute teacher, nodding through chaos while wondering when the school day ends. But Shedeur? Nah, he's not built for that backup life. The man radiates main character energy.
This is the greatest out. I don't know what you want me to do. I was told they don't want to hear me, but I can't give my actual answer.
So
you want me to do coach speak?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. That's
what quarterbacks do.
That is what NFL rooms want. Now, fans, his followers, his supporters, sports media, obviously, we've all talked about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everybody has hit it. We love that this is happening, but I don't know if it's necessarily the right move for an NFL career, if that is what you're looking for. But we don't know what Shedeur. Once again, all you need is one team to be like, that's fucking hilarious. We wish we would have done that.
His whole presence screams, put me in. You don't sit someone like that behind a struggling quarterback and expect him to stay quiet. He's not a placeholder. He's the headline. And deep down, everybody in Cleveland knows it. That's like parking a Lamborghini in the garage and insisting on taking the beat-up minivan out for a spin every single Sunday. Yet here we are in Cleveland, the land where logic goes to retire permanently. You've got Shedeur Sanders, son of Deion Primetime Sanders, a man literally built from swagger, precision, and leadership DNA, sitting on the sidelines watching the offense struggle just to move 10 yards downfield. It's painful. Every time the starter overthrows a pass, you can hear it. Somewhere in the stands, a fan mutters, "Put in Shedeur." It's become the city's unofficial chant/prayer, echoing across the stadium like a cry for common sense. But according to Alex Smith, there's a bigger picture. Oh, really? Because in NFL translation, bigger picture usually means we have no clue what we're doing, but we'll say this to sound smart.
Listen,
I always looked at the quarterback room as this is like this kumbaya sort of. These guys come out of here and they're arm in arm, holding hands and all this stuff. They sit right next to each other in the front row. They do all these things together. And Cleveland messed this quarterback room up on draft day, in my opinion. I mean, you draft a kid high in Dylan Gabriel, then you draft not only a competitor but a pretty good quarterback in terms of Shedeur Sanders. So they're confused and they're competing. So how is it working? And you also have Joe Flacco in there. I don't know how much mentoring Joe Flacco is doing because he knows he's on his last leg. He's on his way out.
The Browns have been chasing that same bigger picture since the Reagan era, still waiting for the final masterpiece that never comes. And to be fair, Shedeur's handling it like a total pro. He's calm, mature, focused, all the things you want from your quarterback. But let's be real, you can feel the fire burning underneath. Every throw at practice probably feels like a statement, every rep like a silent protest. He's not just waiting, he's simmering. The calm before the explosion that everyone knows is coming. You can see it in his body language. The look of a man who's ready to turn frustration into fireworks the second he gets the ball. But here's where it gets hilarious. The Browns actually think benching him is good preparation. Yeah, because clearly the best way to learn NFL speed is by not playing NFL games. Makes total sense, right? That's like trying to teach someone to swim by having them watch YouTube tutorials from the pool deck. Alex Smith's so-called truth feels like a polite translation of something fans already know. The Browns have no idea how to manage real talent.
People want Shedeur to be satisfied as QB3, emergency quarterback, a backup quarterback to Joe Flacco and Dylan Gabriel. Why Shedeur should be satisfied with that? ESPN Get Up Greening told us on ESPN Cleveland that he couldn't find nobody from the scouting department, GM, to come back and tell them that they had Shedeur Sanders.
When you've got someone with Shedeur's command, discipline, and deadly accuracy, you don't babysit him, you unleash him. Otherwise, all you're doing is wasting greatness while pretending it's part of the plan. You don't sideline a guy like Shedeur Sanders. You build around him. You give him the keys, not the clipboard. You let him make mistakes because he's the kind of player who learns fast, adjusts even faster, and never, ever backs down. Meanwhile, the Browns' offense keeps looking like an all-you-can-eat buffet of missed chances. You can literally see the frustration painted across every player's face. The receivers are craving rhythm, the offensive line is begging for direction, and the fans, they just want hope. And guess what? That hope is sitting right there on the bench, rocking number 2, holding a helmet that's screaming to be on the field. Cleveland's front office keeps saying they're protecting Shedeur from early burnout. Protecting him from what exactly? Winning? Because that's the only thing this kid seems allergic to, not succeeding. Shedeur isn't built to crumble under pressure. He eats pressure for breakfast. Throw him into chaos and somehow he'll still turn it into a highlight reel moment. That's what's driving fans wild, because everyone can feel it.
Yes, sir. If he believes there's no way on earth that I should have dropped this low, that is something more than football, then why would you allow something outside of football to contribute to whatever you're projecting?
Right.
You know, not me, not Stephen A, not RC, not Dio. You know, if you're Shedeur Sanders, this is what they did to me. And then you're sitting around and allowing fodder to be displayed where somebody's able to say, that's why we did that to you.
Right. Yeah.
You don't do that.
The tension's building every week. Every loss, every missed throw from the starter just adds another crack in the dam. The media's circling like sharks, the fans are restless, and Alex Smith, he's out here dropping subtle hints like a man who's seen this movie before and already knows the ending, because it always ends the same way, doesn't it? The young, talented quarterback eventually gets his shot, and suddenly everyone pretends they're shocked. They act like they didn't see it coming when the writing's been flashing in neon for weeks. Shedeur is what happens when skill meets discipline, and trying to bench that kind of energy is like trying to trap a thunderstorm in a jar. It can't be contained, and don't get it twisted. The locker room feels it too. Players talk. They see who commands respect, who lifts the mood when things fall apart, who walks in like a real leader ready to change everything. Everyone knows it. The question is, when will the Browns stop pretending they don't? You can't fake leadership. And Shedeur Sanders has it in his DNA. The Browns' whole situation feels like they're trying to convince the world that experience beats talent, when in reality they're just stalling the inevitable. Everyone can see it. They're delaying what's bound to happen anyway. And let's be real, the NFL loves a story.
One, the worldwide news right now is 3 is still 3. Why isn't he 2? The world wants to see him get this chance. This reminds me of the Bronny situation. Dylan, you want to be Quincy. He was the one who got that contract. You want to be third. You want Shedeur to go out there and then have a horrible time, and then you come in and have good moments. So you look good. You going out there first, no one's rooting for you. Unless you out this mother.
Redemption arcs, breakout stars, new franchise faces, and jaw-dropping debuts. So when Shedeur finally takes that field as QB1, it's not an if, it's a win. Because when that day comes, it's going to be pure fireworks. That debut will be the kind of moment that breaks the internet. The type of game where fans suddenly realize, oh wait, we've been watching the future warm up on the sidelines this whole time? And Alex Smith? He probably didn't mean to stir up a storm, but his so-called truth just poured gasoline on an already burning fire. Now every camera at practice is locked on Shedeur. Every whisper in the facility is about when, not if. And no trust the process speech or committee meeting can stop that momentum now. The fans are fed up. They've seen enough 3-and-outs to last a lifetime. The Browns might think they're playing it safe, but in reality, they're slowing down their own success. Because this league moves fast, and confidence like Shedeur's doesn't sit around forever. It demands action. It demands opportunity. And here's the scary part for Cleveland. If they don't wake up soon, they could end up watching him shine somewhere else. Imagine the headlines then. The one that got away, the quarterback they benched into superstardom, all because they hesitated when they should have believed. Because here's the truth. The one Alex Smith didn't even have to say out loud, Shedeur Sanders doesn't need time. He needs a real chance, not token snaps or preseason pity drives. He's earned it, proven it, and waited long enough. Now it's on the Browns to stop protecting their system and start protecting their future. The fans know it, the analysts know it, even the locker room knows it. When that patience finally pays off, Cleveland's going to realize they weren't sitting on a project, they were sitting on a superstar. And when that moment finally hits, when Shedeur Sanders steps onto that field and the offense starts snapping like fireworks, every development phase excuse the Browns have been hiding behind is going to disappear faster than one of their playoff leads. The critics, oh, they'll switch sides so quick it'll give you whiplash. Overnight, the same voices that doubted him will be calling him the future of Cleveland. And Alex Smith's little revelation, it's going to sound downright prophetic. Until then, the Browns can keep pretending they're playing chess while the whole world watches them fumble checkers. But here's the reality. The clock's ticking, the truth's out.
And just went haywire about the stunt that the NFL did on Shedeur. So why Shedeur is supposed to just sit back and just say, hey, I'm in here in practice looking at Joe Flacco, a 41-year-old quarterback, and the way he playing, come on. And I'm looking at Dylan Gabriel, in practice, getting balls batted down at the line of scrimmage, throwing balls where ain't no wide receivers at, and I'm supposed to sit back and be happy? Nah, bruh, it don't work like that. It don't work like that. Shedeur is not satisfied.
And Shedeur is way too good to stay benched much longer. Cleveland can spin their strategy stories all they want, but there's only one truth that matters. When you've got a generational quarterback sitting right there, you don't wait for perfect timing. You create it. And if they don't, history's got a funny way of repeating itself, especially in Cleveland, because if Alex Smith's right, if this whole thing really comes down to politics, fear, or image, then it's even more ridiculous than fans think. The Browns don't need politics, they need points. They don't need caution, they need a spark. And that spark's name is Shedeur Sanders. Give him the ball, let him lead, let the kid do what he was built to do, turn chaos into highlight reels. Because at the end of the day, the only thing worse than losing games is realizing you had the answer sitting right there the entire time. Stylish shades, calm composure, golden arm, the full package just waiting for his moment to explode. If you made it this far, be sure to like, subscribe, and share the video. It helps more than you know. And I'll see you on the next one, because when Shedeur finally gets that start, oh, it's gonna be legendary.